let's go ahead and begin. I'm going to invite the chime to sing, and that's just a gentle mindfulness practice as a way of intentionally coming to this moment completely, coming into this practice completely, and really intentionally endeavoring to maybe put down the morning, to maybe put down what's happening later today, and to really allow ourselves to settle with what's here right now. So let's start with that and see what happens. Welcome, everyone. This is Recovery Dharma. My name is Julia. I'm one of the facilitators of our beautiful Spokane Sangha. I'd like to begin our practice by sharing with you a sentiment of loving kindness. And one of the things that I have done for a long time is I make these little cards, these little hand-painted cards, and then I write little mantras on the back. Sentiments of metta, loving kindness. This one reads, "May you walk in beauty. May you walk in beauty." For the month of June in the Spokane Sangha, we have been exploring the theme of love and really trying to expand our definition, open and broaden our understanding of what love is. We've framed it around loving ourselves, of course, loving other people as access to better loving ourselves as better access to loving other people. It is an expression of limitless mutuality. Today, Wednesday, we spend this time exploring Zen masters. And for several weeks, we've been working with the sayings of Thich Nhat Hanh, who was a Vietnamese Zen master whose number one message was the cultivation of sati, mindfulness. This book that I'm sharing with you today is a book by Roshane Ray, and she did all of the artwork. And this book is titled Breathe, Go Slowly, and Smile. Thich Nhat Hanh, if any of you are familiar with his work, or even if you're new to his work, was a prolific writer. And one of the things that I love about his work is he would take single words like breathe and write whole meditations and offer entire perspectives of interbeing and interconnectedness on simply the topic of breathing. He wrote a whole thesis on what it means to go slowly, and he was very famous for teaching and bringing to our Western consciousness walking meditation. He also has wonderful meditations called smiling meditations, hugging meditation, sitting meditation, eating meditation, and so on. So the title of this book is just infused with practice. And as we go forward in this practice and in this title, I want to bring forward a bit of a challenge that was brought to my attention by a Sangha member who was shared with me that they felt a little rattled every time I made mention to someone or even to them that I was happy to smile with them. It was nice to see their smile. And what it stirred within them was a feeling of pressure to be happy. Because the association of smiling means I must be happy. And I've been sitting with that experience of this Sangha member for a little while now. And obviously, when I comment on somebody's smile or when I invite people to smile, there's never an intention to put any pressure on anybody, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't happen. It doesn't get stirred up. And so I was so grateful to the Sangha member for bringing it to my attention. And so this is an opportunity when you think about the title of this book, Breathe, Go Slowly, and Smile, to open up to its opposites, which can be incredibly informing. Hold your breath, move quickly, grimace or growl. That can be real. And I would encourage it if that's how you're feeling. Really lean into it. Because one of the things that we're trying to cultivate in a Buddhist practice is a return to our whole selves. Not to try to put on the cloak of saintliness or holiness, and I'm breathing in a yogic way all the time, and I'm moving slowly and meditatively and serenely as if I don't have a care in the world. And I'm smiling all the time because I'm so happy. That is not the nature of reality. The nature of reality has space for times when we're holding our breath and we're stressed and distressed. Times where we're moving very quickly, not particularly mindfully, even unskillfully. We are going from this to that and this to that and this to that, and that is the demand of our day. And there are other times where a mood has descended, a worry, feelings that are depressed, anxious feelings, or just irritated feelings. We, like Morpheus from The Matrix says, we have splinters in our mind and we can't get rid of them, and so we're grimacing. The point is, come to the threshold of you. Notice how you are. And in the fullness of being, be that. So let's take a moment of silence and just reflect, how am I today, really? What is my mood? How is my body? Am I holding my breath? How come? What are my thoughts and stories? Take a look. Be curious and friendly. And allow what is ever there to be there without judgment or hindrance. Friends, a very simple yet informative practice that can help stir your mood and really clarify where you're at is if you close your eyes and you invite yourself to play with your eyebrows. This is eyebrow meditation. And I promise you'll never see another person's eyebrows in the same way again. And it's really important to open up to people's eyebrows because they carry so much information. When we are stressed, when we are in a sour mood, when we feel defensive and closed off, the eyebrows are down and furrowed. When the eyebrows are up, there is a degree of surprise, but there's also insecurity, inquisitiveness, wonder, questioning, doubt. When the eyebrows are relaxed and the forehead is relaxed, there's a degree of contentment in this person's body and mind. And that level of contentment or harmony is a wide, wide space. Because a person could be content, yet also incredibly guarded. Notice your eyebrows. Notice where they rest when you smile. Notice where they are when you grimace, and just notice. I bring all of this to your attention today because of the very short teaching that Thich Nhat Hanh has in this beautiful book. And I'd like to share it with you now. Thich Nhat Hanh writes, "Long live impermanence. Thanks to impermanence, we can transform suffering into joy." We can only do that if we're real about it. So if you don't feel smiley, then don't fake it. I know there's an adage out there, fake it till you make it. And maybe that has worked for you. And if it has, then bravo. That is an adage for my first person experience that has always landed a little bit off. I don't want to fake anything. And so I want to learn to be more real. And this is really difficult to do. And that's where you come to the moment. And the moment changes. It's impermanent. And so you may be feeling, I may be feeling very anxious and very stressed. And I'm also able to feel joy right behind that. I don't have to allow the anxiety and the stress to take over everything. I can allow a moment of joy to come in. And then that joy will be impermanent, and my anxiety, I'll have to lean into that, and I'll get to know that. And then that feeling will be impermanent, and another feeling will enter its place. We are that resilient, we are that skilled, And we have that degree of capacity to be able to hold such a spectrum of emotion and know that it can change moment to moment to moment to moment. I'll tell you a very quick story. Many of you know that when one of my daughters was young, she had leukemia, and she was very sick, and it was very terrible. And she was hospitalized a number of times, and she was 4 years old, and I had a 6-year-old son and a 13-month-old baby at that time. And so we would go visit her in the hospital, in the pediatric oncology ward, which you can imagine was a very sober and somber place. There were very sick children there. There were dying children there. There were newly diagnosed children there, families who were just bewildered, families who'd been living in the hospital for months at a time. I hated going to the hospital every single minute of the 3 years that we had to go. Hated it. And I had kids that needed to be entertained, and I had kids that needed to be somewhat sheltered from the horror of this reality. I had to frame it in a way that was safe for them and fun and beautiful. So every day I would get up and I would have this terrible flood of anxiety. What are we going to face today? What's this day going to be like? Ugh. And every single day I had kids that needed to get dressed up in super hero costumes. So my son Rio was invariably Spider-Man costume or Superman. My baby was either like a unicorn or a pumpkin or a ladybug. And then my daughter, who was hospitalized, wasn't about to be left out, so she was usually like a princess or a unicorn. And then, of course, I had to get into the fun of it, and so I had all kinds of costumes, and we would dress up and go and parade down the halls. Lions growling, witches on the broomsticks, unicorns clopping around. And for a moment, it really was so joyful. There was nothing about what I was doing that was faking it. In fact, this joy was so real. It's the very thing that allowed me to go into this room and face the seriousness and the severity of my day. The depth of that suffering informed the ways that I could bring forward depths of joy. The two together are what made the experience whole and are certainly what made me whole. And the forgiving and comforting part of it was knowing that the mood was going to change multiple times a day. The energy was going to change multiple times a day. And my practice was the canoe, the raft that carried me along. So may your practice, and however it shows up for you, anchor you in strength and wisdom, keep you engaged with the impermanence, the coming and going of your emotional well-being and discomfort. May you recognize with ease when you breathe and when you hold your breath, when you move quickly, when you go slowly, when you smile and when you growl. And may you see this on your face and see it in the faces of others. Breathe. Go slowly. Be. Alrighty, I think that's it. Let's go ahead and end our practice today with a dedication of merit. Ah, check in with your eyebrows. Check in with your smile and your grimace. Let's take a moment to think about the many, many unpracticed people that are out there. People who say incredibly insensitive things, mired by their own thought and story. They are shackled to it that they can't even see clearly the suspended state of reality of a grieving mother. Take time to notice each other's faces. There's a lot that you can read there. Remember that the merit that you gain in this practice, the goodness that you gain in this practice is like a beautiful seed that you can continue to nurture. May it radiate out into the world in a spirit of kindness and joy. May it find people in the presence of their suffering, and may they feel warmed by your presence. May you know that the goodness that you've received here really does transform minds and hearts. May you bring your transformation unapologetically to the world so desperate to have it. Thank you for your beautiful practice today. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you next week. Namaste.